Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam. Namame Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Iko आ रहा है. So we saw all the question was what? So many Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, or Brahman is me, I am all, or all this is Brahman, or Jnana Swarupam is completely different from all these things. Bhagavan said, Vrittayo Bhavana Eva, all these thoughts are only thoughts only. They are not, without any doubt, they are not Jnanam. So we were watching so beautiful commentary. Therefore, Atayeva Bhagavata Maharshina Upadishto Vicharo Niralamba Aham Mula Vicharaha. Therefore, continuity of yesterday's commentary. Therefore means you must recall what was said yesterday. So what is the conclusion? Therefore, because all these things are only thoughts only, Bhagavan gave a method. Niralamba aham mula vicharaha. Without any alambanam, without any support of anything, aham mula vicharana. Who this very deep it is. It's not every day if we practice it, slowly we get into that deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Where is it? Ahamvritti. Ahamvritti, the moola, the source of this I thought, has to be discovered. So, natu manaso vicharaha aham brahma asmi ityadihi. It is not mentally thinking, generating thoughts of aham brahma asmi, I am Brahman, tattvamasi, or all this is Brahman, or I am everything. All these things are manasa vyaparaha. It is not manasa, we are only generating a kind of thoughts in the mind. That is not inquiry. So what is the use of those thoughts then? It may create a conducive environment for deeper self-inquiry. Yesterday we saw that thought. So avidyayam vartamanasya dehatma abhimaninaha purushasya yata bhavana rupa vritti samsara hetur bhavati tatha moksha prapterapi hetu siddhante vritti sakshat moksha sadhanam na bhavati chittasya anukula samskara sampadana dvara prabhavati jnanaya yasmad evam moksha natu sakshat aham brahmasmiti vritti iti vaktavyam. So this aham vritti, the thoughts you generate in the mind, it is not at all going to help us. You may repeat whole life like a parrot story, what we saw, the bird story. No use. We are only at the realm of mind. So therefore, dropping all such thoughts, who is repeating all thoughts? I. Who is this nature of the inquiry? Therefore, natu manaso vicharaha aham brahma asmiti ityadihi. It is not a mentally repeating, mentally generating thoughts and thinking that it is self-inquiry. It doesn't help us. Adhyastu sakshat sadhana bhutaha bhavana nirapeksha aham mulanveshanadina swarupa paryavasayi. Adhyastu, the first one. First one is niralamba upasana, niralamba vichara marga. So niralamba aham mula vicharaha. The first one. So niralamba aham mula vicharaha bhavana nirapeksha. This is not depending on bhavana, not depending on the thought. So self-inquiry is not a thought. So bhavana nirapeksha aham mula anveshanadina. Ultimately, if that inquiry, if we start doing niralamba aham mula vicharaha, if we do, ultimately that will take to swarupa paryavasayi. It will take us to our own self. Not mentally repeating. Part karo, jab karo, koi bhi karo. It only creates a mental environment. It is not going to give us. Until the thought converts itself and dissolves itself into our own self. It's not easy. Therefore, Dvitiyastu, that is Manasakrutaha Salambo Bhavanadhinaha. What is second one? Second one is repeating the thoughts in the mind is Manasakrutaha, created in the mind, Sa Alambaha. Without it is with alamba, with support, kind of support, nama, etc. you take. Bhavana adhinaha. It is conditioned and controlled and depending on the thought. The thought is Jadaswarupa. So Vrutturupena eva avasthita. That is not, that thought will not go and enter into become Brahman. That thought is only remaining as Vruttirupena eva avasthitaha. It remains only at the thought level as the thought. It will not produce the Aham Brahma Anubhuti. Brahmasmi Anubhuti will never get. So by merely repeating, it's only criminal waste of time. So unless without that, the purpose is what? Only creating a japa, nama, etc., nama, japa, etc., creates a conducive atmosphere in the mind. So not directly taking us to realization. So na sakshat jnanam bhavitum irhati. So it becomes only stationed, it gets stagnated, it remains only at the thought level as the thought. So that doesn't give us the jnanam. That doesn't give us realization. That doesn't give us enlightenment. Whatever you do, not in this life, we may do for 100 lives same thing, nothing is going to happen. It will not. Yes, okay. Na sakshat. Soham vicharo vapuratma bhave sahayakari paramarganasya iti saddarshana vakyam api imam artham aha. सद्दर्शनम में एक श्लोक आता है. सोहम विचारो वपुरात्म भावे सोहम सोहम विचारः वपुर आत्म भावे वपुः. One who is identified with body as a self. One who had this identification, misunderstanding that Sharira is Atma, for such a person, Soham Vicharaha, that understanding that Shastra, Sa Aham, what is Tattvamasi Mahavakya, what is the nature of Tattva, what is the nature of Tvam, what is Hasi, on paper or on the board, it is to understand all these things, Sahayakari. See, Sahayakari Paramarganasya. In our path to enlightenment, they all become only an means, aids, but that doesn't give me realization. So, soham vicharaha, soham vicharo vapuratma bhave sahayakari paramarganasiti saddarshana vakyam api itamarthaha. Ihaiva purvatra shastra vicharo mokshaya na alam. Sacha upasana atma vicharakyam aham moolanveshanadi prapyam jnana jwalakaram sahajatma sthiti rupamiti pratipaditam. So ihaiva purvatra shastra vicharo mokshaya alam. Shastra vichara, as I said earlier, shastra vichara is not enough for self-realization. Because vichara also is done only in the form of a thought level. It may give you conviction, it may give you some kind of conducive atmosphere, but it is not enough. Sacha upasana atma vicharakyam aham moolanveshanadi prapyam. That Atman is realized only aham moola vicharana dwara. It is only by inquiring the support or the source of this ahankara, ahamvritti. With that self-enquiry, deep enquiry alone. So, in order to do the deep enquiry, mind should be conducive, cooperative. To create that conducive atmosphere, Shastra Vichara may help you, but it doesn't give you, it is not enough for realization. So, don't think that generating the thoughts constantly, reveling in the thought is Brahma, 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 Brahma. It is another illusion. And another the possibility is that we develop a more ignorant, ahankara, because of this knowledge in the form of thoughts. So therefore, aham moolanveshanadi prapyam jnana jwalakaram. That jwalakaram, that enlightened jnanam, that burning, that it's a flame of knowledge, light of knowledge, flame of knowledge. Jnana jwalakaram sahajatma sthiti rupamiti pratipaditam. So because of that enquiry onto the nature of the source of the ahankara, that jnana jvalakaram ultimately takes us to the realization and establishes us in our own swarupa, atma swarupam. Shastra charchaya atyantikam palam aham brahmasmi ityadi bhavanadhina vritte evaiti tanna alam tad vilakshanameva jnanam iti cha sakshat sadhana upadrishta bhagavata maharshina pratipaditam avagantavyam. So therefore, what is that? Shastra charchaya atyantikam phalam aham brahmasmi ityadi bhavanadhina vrittereva iti. So whatever shastras you do, shastra charchaya atyantikam phalam aham brahma. What is the ultimate phalam? Aham brahmasmi ityadi bhavanadhina vrittehe eva iti. So all these things when you do, see the what do you call the thought rises, etc. And ultimately it's only bhavanadhina. Beautiful thing. It's all bhavanadhina. It is not complete jnanam. Therefore, tanna alam. It is not enough. Tad vilakshanameva jnanam iti. This completely, the jnanam is not the thoughts. It is completely other than this thought structure and thoughts of relativity, relative vichara, etc. So therefore, sakshat sadhana upadrishta. This is a direct means which was given by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. What? Enquire about the moolam of aham. There alone the thoughts are all get dissolved. In that enquiry alone. Otherwise, this will not give you any moksham. Therefore, this is how Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Upadrishta Maharshina Pratipaditam Avagantavyam. So one has to know this is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi gave ultimately in his teachings. So therefore, what is the ultimate Shastra enquiry? At the most, Shastra Chancha, Shastra Chintanam is only at thought level only. It replaces one thought by other thought. It doesn't annihilate the thought. Vichara, at the Manasa Vichara, does not annihilate, do not annihilate the thought. It only replaces one thought by any other thought. Just as a thought gives you a result, an activity, that activity gives you a result, this kind of thoughts also will give you a result in terms of protecting your mind from external bombardings of the sense objects, enjoying some kind of relativity. But we live in our own illusion that we are spiritual. We at least because of spiritual vasana, we may not be tempted by every movie, every hotel, every food and everything. We may be a little bit of better than other individuals in society. That is the phalam of the vritti or activity of karma, manasa karma, of entertaining the vichara, shastra vichara, but they are not actually, these thoughts are only replacing. That aham samsari, aham deha atma bhava, aham dehi, I am the body, thought is replaced by I am Brahman, I am the other than the body. It's only thought replacement, but realization doesn't happen. Because your thoughts are always maintained. Therefore, Shastric inquiry is only a thought. It is only a mental notion. It's a vritti generated. Like I am Brahman, etc. And that is not enough. It is not enough for realization. Na alam. But jnanam is completely other than that. Therefore, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi advocated this direct path. Go there, otherwise we will not realize the truth. The thought is not dissolved. Thought is only generated. More and more thoughts are generated. Similar thoughts are generated. So, next verse. Guror vachanamakarnya samshaya chedakarakam aprucham punarevaha manyam samshaya mudgatam. Guror vachanamakarnya. Having heard this, Ramana Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni asked this question. Having heard this beautiful explanation of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, then what? Akarnya samshaya chedakarakam. And it is actually dispelled the thoughts. Aprucham punaeva aha. And another thought actually, this the doubt in my mind. What is that? It is utsava. The another doubt has risen in my mind. So udgatam. Punareva aham anyam samshayam udgatam. Other doubt has raised after Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said this. What is that now? This is also a technical question. Vrittivyapyam bhavet brahma navanatha tapasvinam imam me hrudi sanjatam samshayam chettumarhasi. Now, unless we have this little Vedanta samskara, and actually the deep it is. No. Vrittivyapti, phalavyapti. Now, Vrittivyapyam bhaved brahma navanatha ye tapasvinam, ye maharshi, o tapasvi. Can Vrittivyapti, it lead me to that Brahma Jnanam or not? So, is that Brahman can be comprehended by Vritti? See, for example, what is Vrittivyapti? Vrittivyapti means any vastu we wanted to know, external world, the mind, the thought goes, takes, that embraces the object, takes the shape of the object, and it is with the thought, the consciousness also goes. That is because in every thought cannot exist without consciousness. So this thought riding over by the consciousness riding on the thought, capped by the thought, goes out, takes the shape of the object and comes back, and then the consciousness illumines that particular object, and that object I come to know as I know, that is called Phalavyapti. But Vrittivyapti is first the consciousness, the thought goes, embraces the object, takes the shape of the object. So like that, can the thought, Brahman be subjected to the thought? Can it become the object of my thought? Can Brahman be Vrittivyapti, like any vastu I come to know? Similarly, can Brahman be comprehended by the thought vritti? Is it possible? So, because here now we'll see Tapasvinam Natha. Oh Yogendra, the Natha means you are a very great master of all tapasvins. Ye Yogendra Brahma Vrittivyapyam bhavet nava. That is the question. Can Brahman be grasped by the vritti? Why? Because Brahmanaha vritti upahita chaitanya vishayatvam syad va na va iti. So vritti upahita chaitanyam. No, consciousness conditioned by the thought. Is that vritti upahita chaitanya vishayatvam? So that is consciousness conditioned by the thought. That becomes a thought. Within the garbha, the womb of the thought, there is a consciousness, reflected consciousness. Is that reflected consciousness can grasp the Akanda Brahman, which is beyond the thought? Because the no knowledge is, first of all, statement is, no knowledge can ever takes place, including the knowledge of Brahman, without a thought. Thought is absolutely necessary. Without vritti, jnanam means thought is necessary. Thought contains in its womb consciousness, reflected consciousness. So, what is happening in one straight line, I will tell you. In every object that we know, there is vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. Vritti vyapti is thought goes out, takes the shape of the object, and illumined by consciousness. Idam vastu, that this is chair. But I know, I come to know that this is a chair. So I knowing it as a chair is called Phalavyapti. Very simplifying I am talking. Not too much of technical things. So I know that this is chair. That is Phalavyapti. I know only this is the first Vritti Vyapti, then Phalavyapti. Both are required. Otherwise, knowledge is not complete. So, every vastu, Vishaya Jnanam is a very beautiful thing. Our Rishis have contemplated how the knowledge takes place. How knowledge is taking place. So, even in modern science you take, light goes out, takes the shape and then comes back to retina, inverted image and again re-inverted in the brain. and then that image is formed. Then knowledge. No. Then knowledge doesn't take place. That's not up to brain. But beyond the brain, illumined by the consciousness, the mind. And then behind that mind, the conditioned consciousness first illumines, then grasps it. Then the other, beyond that, the me, and I know it, this is this object. That is called palavyapti. So, vritti brahma, vritti vyapyam bhavet nava. Can vritti grasp the Brahman or not? We simply know it's not possible. No, it is. Otherwise, there is no other means to know Brahman also. But where it is a trick now, in the Brahma Vidya, vritti vyapti takes place, but phala vyapti doesn't take place. Because there, idam, this jnanam, idam, this is this. Where the knower is there to know the object. In Brahma Vishayam, there is no knower born. There is no separate entity. That's what Bhagavan Ramana explains. So therefore, Gurudev calls it is an experience without experiencer. We understand only like birds only. It is useful perhaps in pravachan dene ke liye. It's practically we don't know what it is. Because every knowledge and experience is required, birth of experiencer, and knowing that this object is this is called phalavyapti. Where there is no experiencer, only vritti vyapti takes place, phala vyapti doesn't take place. Therefore, the question is, vritti upahita chaitanya vishayatvam syat. Can it be the object of the conscious, the thought? Vritti upahita chaitanyam is the chaitanyam which is, because thought itself is jadam. Without the consciousness aspect in the thought, no knowledge can ever take place. Even the objective knowledge cannot take place. So, vritti upahita chaitanyam, vishishta chaitanyam, they are technical words actually. So, Vishayatvam Syat Nava iti imam hrudi manasi hrudo manaha paryayatvat nahi hridaya koharam matam. Here hrudi means what? Not in the heart here. Hrudi means here the mind. Not hridaya kohara madhye kevalam brahma matram. That not hridayam here. Hridaya means here manaha. Sanjatam utpannam samshayam chettumarhasi. Nivaryatam prasanno bhaveti yachate. Prasanno bhava iti yachate. Nivaryutam. Please help me in dissolving this doubt in my, mind. So please, I request you, I pray to you, kindly dispel this doubt in me. But what is the role of the thought? How the thought? Because without thought, knowledge is not take place. You begin with the thought only. Then how the thought will culminate? Because in the Vyavahara, phala vyapti is there. But in Brahman, you say thought cannot embrace the Brahman. But again, the Shastras, without a thought, you cannot know Brahman. Because any knowledge is possible only through thought. So what is up to what extent the thought functions and where the thought doesn't function? And what happens actually there? This is the question. You understood the question? It's a wrong question to ask you. Even if you are not understood, हाँ कह देना, नहीं तो ये हम ही अटक जाएंगे इधर ही. हाँ समझ में आ गया, आगे बढ़ो. So therefore, vritti vyapyam bhavet brahmanava bhavet iti. Said, tam imam prashnamakarnya mitram angrijusham rishihi abhishitya katakshena mam idam vakyam abravit. Bhagavan Ramana heard this question. Tam imam prashnam akaranya. Mitram, who is the Bhagavan? My friend. Then Angrijusham. Angrijusham means whoever resort to his feet, whoever takes refuge in his feet, to them he is a friend. Surrender ho jao, Guru loves you, likes you, embraces you in his consciousness. If we don't surrender, Guru can't help. So all Gurus love. Tavaham. Bhakta says, Tavaham, I am yours. So I surrendered. So Angrijusha means those who take refuge in his feet, to all of them, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi is a great friend. Mitram Angrijusham. Rushihi, that seer, the Rushihi, who is a friend of all those who take refuge in me, in him, Abhishitya Katakshena. Katakshena Abhishitya means what? He actually looked at him with a compassionate eyes. The karuna flowing from the eyes of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi drenched the disciple called Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni. कटाक्ष दृष्टि के द्वारा उनका अभिषेक हुआ. That graceful looks of the teacher. So I was actually अभिषेक, मेरा अभिषेक तो हो गया हूं मैं. Completely showered by the compassionate looks of the Paramatma, Katakshena, Mam idam vakyam abravit. This vakyam, this sentence he told. What is that? This I will take up next month. It will take time to explain. So we are in the 4th chapter and 8th verse we have to start. 7th verse is the 6th verse is the question asked by Ganapati Muni. So 8th verse is the answer. Swatma bhutam yadi brahma jnatam vritti pravartate swatma karadada bhutva prathak pratishtati. This we will see in the next month class. So now I am concluding today. You know, today is 19th July. Up to 3rd August 2024, we have Pujya Gurudev's online YouTube talks on 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. For about 45 minutes, I think. That is the time they gave. So 7:30 to 8:15 p.m. Today 19th to 3rd August. We may not be watching on 3rd August because we have our program in the evening. And Guru Purnima also we cannot watch. Rest of the days you can watch on YouTube live as a tapasya. You can watch those talks. But today we will watch on screen together. So this speaks of Pujya Gurudev's. And afterwards we will have Guru Dakshina book distribution. Okay? Those who want to go early, drop Guru Dakshina, pick up the book and go. No problem. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.